meditations on the experience of losing someone near and dear to you. Joan Didion wrote a powerful book at the death of her husband, and then a second powerful book within a year at the unexpected loss of her daughter. More recently, a New York Times bestseller by Paul Kalanithi has captured a lot of attention. It's called When Breath Becomes Air. Kalanithi was a young doctor at Stanford University Medical Center. He had begun his life studying English, got a bachelor's degree and master's degree at Stanford in English literature, and had decided that what literature allowed him to do better than anything else was to pursue the question of what is life all about? What's the meaning of life in general, and what's the meaning of my life? And so in reflecting upon this, he also came to the realization that a barrier to human meaning could be the human brain, that when something goes wrong with the brain, it also short-circuits the human ability to find meaning. And so he decided that in addition to having studied literature, that he wanted also to study physiology and eventually medicine. And the brain became his primary focus of attention. So here he is, after 10 years of residency, all of a sudden he's not feeling good, a general malaise, he's losing weight, goes in for some tests, discovers he has stage 4 lung cancer. He and his wife then are faced with the question of how to live life until he dies. They made a decision to have a child in the midst of all of this. And the end of his book, which we'll hear from a little bit later in the lecture, talks a little bit about what that experience meant for him. He begins the book with this quote from Baron Brooke Fulk Greville from a poem called Chelika 83. You that seek what life is in death, now find it air that once was breath. New names unknown, old names gone, till time end bodies, but souls none. Reader, then make time while you be but steps to your eternity. It's a poem that's packed with a lot that touches on the theme of our lectures. Life in death. That image of air that once was breath, breathing out, but then when it's no longer being expired, when someone has expired, it becomes air. Bodies and souls, something that dies, something that remains alive. And then that last couplet, time is steps to eternity. So all of those topics are so much a part of our own reflection upon the meaning of life. The Catholic ritual book, Pastoral Care of the Sick, writes of anointing and viaticum. In its very first paragraph, in a section called Human Sickness and Its Meaning in the Mystery of Salvation, has this to say about sickness and how it interacts with our human experience. Paragraph 1 says, suffering and illness have always been among the greatest problems that trouble the human spirit. Christians feel and experience pain as do all other people, yet their faith helps them to grasp more deeply the mystery of suffering and to bear their pain with greater courage. Sickness, pain, suffering, mystery, something that requires us to pray, to meditate, to reflect. In the Catholic tradition, the way that the Church helps us to deal with this experience of limitation, of sickness and pain, suffering and death, and then the pain of separation and bereavement, is precisely in rituals. What I hope to do in today's lecture is to talk a little bit more